Well, moving on, as Tahawwur Rana is grilled by the NIA in Delhi, a tweet from Prime Minister Modi from 2011 has gone viral. The Prime Minister in his 2011 post had criticized the previous Congress-led government's foreign policy and called America's move a disgrace for India's sovereignty. In 2011, the US court had cleared Rana of a direct role in helping plot the terror attack. 25 years later, a meeting with Donald Trump and 15 years of Rana making failed appeals sealed the extradition deal. The United States had accepted India's case in 2020. Well, so has the Modi government taken a big step in ensuring justice for the 2611 victims? Should the Prime Minister be credited for bringing a Pakistani terrorist back home? Let's also listen to what Prime Minister Modi said when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2011, and Trump also announcing Rana's return after meeting Prime Minister Modi in 2025.
अमेरिका की शिकागो की कोर्ट में आज राणा एक टेररिस्ट को मुक्त करने का फैसला हो चुका है। किस आधार पर 26/11 के मुंबई के आतंकवादी घटना के दोषियों को निर्दोष करार करने की हिम्मत शिकागो कोर्ट करे? इन्वेस्टिगेशन किसने किया? जहां घटना घटी उनका रोल क्या रहा? यहां के पीड़ित लोग हैं, उनको न्याय कौन दिलाएगा? अमेरिका ने पाकिस्तान को खुश करने के लिए ये मिली भगत से कोई पैंतरा रचा है, कोई व्यू बनाया है?
Well, I don't think India had a very good relationship with the Biden administration. Biden, they wouldn't sell them oil and gas, which is rather hard to believe because, it's a good thing to do. And a lot of things happened that weren't very appropriate, I thought, between India and the administration, the Biden administration. But as you said, we're...
All right, we're going to talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Ambassador Bhaspati Mukherjee, former diplomat, Mr. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, also with us on the show. Mr. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, joins us on the program as well. And last but by no means the least, Major General Dhruv Katoch, director of the India Foundation, defense expert, also with us on this all-important conversation. Ambassador Mukherjee, I'll begin with you, ma'am. First of all, it's a big deal for India. It's a big deal for India's diplomacy as well. And you should also be congratulated for being part of that sacred fabric, that this terrorist has been brought back to the country to face the right end of the Indian justice system. But the fact of the matter is that, the trails or the crumbs that we in fact go back and pick, they all point out to the Prime Minister, also echoing how important it was for this terrorist to be coming back to India, not only because he is to be punished for what he did on 26/11, but also for the message, the overall message that India will be giving to the terrorist community and, of course, Pakistan.
I think our Prime Minister is certainly to be congratulated. I had heard his tweet earlier when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, and it was a very great day for India to get this terrorist back because he has evaded justice for too long, and as they say, justice delayed is justice denied. And there are so many, as the Prime Minister said, pained souls, Pirit Log, who have waited for this moment to come. And the fact that President Trump announced it after meeting PM Modi demonstrates A, what a huge bond they have, and B, the kind of influence that Prime Minister Modi had over President Trump, that the Americans finally understood that they could not keep on accommodating this Rana's efforts to escape extradition on grounds of ill health, etc., and that he is now back here to face justice. Let us not forget that the only other person that we were able to catch was Ajmal Kasab, who clearly nailed Rana, and it is high time that after a free and fair trial, he is given the justice that he deserves in this country, which he came to in order to carry out the most horrific terrorist attacks that some of us who remember clearly, and I certainly do, the shock when we saw, for instance, the iconic Taj Hotel up in flames, etc. This was something the nation cannot forget. And it is a fact, I don't like saying it, but the weak response of the then Indian government was perceived to be national weakness, and that itself helped the enemies of India, because for a long time we were considered to be a weak state with what they called mockingly a Hindu rate of growth, which means 1% rate of growth per year, annual GDP, unfortunately, very unfortunate way of saying it, etc. But today's India in 2025 has demonstrated that that India is gone. The manner in which we brought him back, we with a different code, we took no chances, we had everything planned out, is itself a demonstration that finally India has come of age. India is not emerging, India has emerged. And we are not a banana republic. We believe in rule of law. We gave Kasab a fair trial. Many people told me it's too long, you people take too long to bring people to justice. Not at all. He will be given a free and fair trial so that nobody can say that in India there is no rule of law. And ultimately, Satyame Jayati, he will be given the justice that he surely deserves and for which his victims' families have been waiting for so many long years since 2011. Vineet.
Jal Gatoch, how do you look at this extradition? Is this a victory at a number of levels? Of course, it's a diplomatic victory. It's moral catharsis, if we can call it that. It's also validation towards the efforts of the government. It's vindication for those people who knew and who wanted this man, face the punishment for the crimes he's committed. How do you look at this particular event?
Thank you, Vineet. Vineet, firstly, I think, it is, I think this, getting back Tahawwur Rana, I think the most important thing, for the people who lost their loved ones, I think it will bring them a sense of closure. Not just to those people, because they are the directly affected ones who lost their relatives and friends. I think to the whole country, it will bring some sort of a closure, not a complete closure, but some sort of a closure that, okay, to some extent, justice has been served. And to that extent, I think it is very important. We need to close things, But on the impact, I have always believed, that this cannot be done without political will. That is the message it goes across. There was very strong political will, and that is why it has happened. And then our diplomats did an outstanding effort. Our intelligence agencies and the legal fraternity, all of them have combined together to actually put to fruition that political will which I was talking about. So it symbolizes, as Ambassador Mukherjee has very correctly stated, India is coming of age. The stronger we grow, the more people will listen to our voice. The weaker we are, it doesn't matter what you say, whether right is on your side or anything. Nobody will listen to you. You have to be strong. You have to be correct. You have to be strong. And I think India is on that path now. So people are listening to us. There are a whole range of people who are at the moment absconding in the United Kingdom and in Canada and in certain other countries. Give it a few more years, they'll also come. All of them will come. Not because they want to come, it is because India is strong and those countries will not be able to hold them any longer. That is going to be the message. And there will be many other important messages which are coming out, especially post the interrogation, because I hope it breaks the linkages which this man had with certain people in Pakistan and exposes the ISI and brings the then DG ISI, who later became the army chief, General Kiani, and their Prime Minister Gilani at that point of time. They need to be tried by a criminal court. The criminal court of justice needs to try them. That is one. And the traitors in India, because there would have been some very high level contact in India also, a political contact at the very, very high level. Who were those political leaders of those political parties? Was there somebody there? Were they in contact with the Pakistanis? If those things come out, I think there'll be a total catharsis, and that will really signify, India truly coming of age, because then we have to get rid of these traitors once and for all. Vineet.
Okay, get rid of these traitors once and for all, Gautam. But the problem is that a lot of these traitors are yet to be named by Tahawwur Rana, and that exactly is going to be the task which is cut out for the NIA at this point in time. And yesterday, Gautam, we have already seen that Pakistan preemptively came up with a statement which was meant to exonerate them, but it has perhaps increased their culpability a lot more when it comes to being sponsors of these terrorists. Gautam.
Yes, with the Pakistanis saying that, he is a Canadian citizen, they sort of stepped in it by saying that he's a Canadian citizen. They're also saying that, okay, he's a criminal, okay, he was responsible for 26/11 as a plotter and planner, but he's no longer our pigeon. So even though there are dual citizenship allowed in Pakistan, he hasn't renewed his passport. So we are off the hook, which is a very, very weak defense. As far as Rana goes, now he's in custody at long last, definitely as a consequence of Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Modi's long and sustained effort, along with all the agencies, relevant agencies of the government of India. Today, the fact that he will be interrogated for 18 days by the NIA is very good, and let us see what emerges out of it. As I said before, my feeling is that he will mislead as much as possible, because it is some methodology to try and not be convicted in trial. The other thing is, quite apart from his own fate, he must be concerned about the fate of his family and extended family, let alone the other people who conspired with him in Pakistan, in India, in other places to bring this about. In India, we have a fair idea that the ruling party itself was involved. I mean, this is shocking. Not only was it involved, but it refused to do anything about 26/11 by citing that it will destabilize our Muslim population. Our Muslim population are patriots, by and large, apart from a few instigators and agent provocateurs. The bulk of the Muslim population of India are people we can be proud of. They are not terrorists, they're not supporters of terrorists, and for the previous government to try and paint them in that light is itself pretty repulsive. So a lot of things will be revisited. So happens that it's going to be revisited after 17 long years. But I'm sure, apart from what the other panelists said about India's stature and being taken seriously, it is also going to be a signal lesson of how our judiciary and investigative agencies are able to make the most of this very, very well-fought and long-fought capture. Vineet.
Mr. Himanshu Bhatt, how do you look at this this extradition? I have said it yesterday as well when Tahawwur Rana landed in India, that this is a definition in more ways than one.
I covered this case. I was reporting on those days. And let me tell you one thing. I, for one, personally, like me, there are lakhs and lakhs of people in Mumbai at that time. Everybody wants a closure for Havaldar Tukaram, who took 30 bullets. Everybody wants a closure for those propagandists who ran a campaign of saying, next day Mumbai is up and running and as if nothing has happened and this and that and all. Everybody wants a closure. See, we know we can give a fair trial to Ajmal Kasab. So we can do that to this Rana also. But the issue here is our internal people, our people, who have done things here. Why is it? My basic questions, even today after 17 years, when Narendra Bhai tweeted this, he was very clear. He was refused. At that time, it was Barack Hussein Obama and his government that was ruling in US when he tweeted this, what we are talking about today. So it was very clear that there is going to be a portion of that old deep state functioning in Bharat, and it is going to help cover up the incident. But I want to know the name of that major, because this particular event was televised live. And there was a major who was instructing this, people who were carrying on massacre in Leopold Cafe or Taj or Victoria Terminus. When that happened, and when you hear that voice, it did not let me sleep for 2 days. And I was still, every time I hear a voice like that, I used to look at it with a suspicion. We want that major. We want that major's name. And we need to be persistent. And this is called persistence. This is called persistence of Bharat. I look at it that way. For 17 years, what Narendra Bhai believed in 2011, he still believed in the same thing in 2025. When we got this Tahawwur Rana here, now it will open the ways, open the doors for, I believe, lots and lots of Khalistanis to come back from USA. One after another, in a couple of years' time, you will see, Ambassador might be able to draw more light on that. But, I foresee this. With this government, this is going to happen. And this closure of this case, it just will not come this way. A canary has to sing. And it has to sing in a proper manner. From A to Z, it has to tell. He might try to mislead initially, yes, that everybody tries that. But we have ways and means to get him sing. And if he wants to save himself or his skin, he will have to sing. And which, Bharat will have to prove it that we are not a soft state. And as far as, this Hindu rate of growth is concerned, that's too big an insult we have bared for so many years. Let me tell you that. And we are giving a slap to the world. Slap to the people who have been telling us that. With a consistent highest rate of growth in the bigger economies of the world today from last 5-7 years. So, they will stop talking nonsense now. I hope for it.
All right. Ambassador Mukherjee, starting with you, concluding thoughts.
I first wanted to congratulate the last panelist, Mr. Bhatt, and to say that when I was a kid and we had food shortages, that was the Hindu rate of growth, the Americans sent us PL 480 wheat, which was condemned for American cattle. And that was the first time that my Bengali mother, weeping, learned how to make chapati. So there are those of us who have not forgotten the insults that we had to bear as children and the pride that we have got back under the present Prime Minister and the government. I would like to conclude by saying that this man will surely sing. If not like a canary, then like a nightingale. We are going to make him sing. And we are going to get all the people. We are going to get each and every one of them. And we are also going to demonstrate to the world that if it was okay for United States to go to Pakistan and get Osama bin Laden, you don't have two types of international law. What is good for America is good for India. We are not lesser than any other country. And if necessary, we will go anywhere and everywhere to get all these people who inflicted torture on innocent people. And we can never forget the way that we got Kasab because of the bravery of one person who took so many bullets but never let go of Kasab's gun. I bow my head to the martyrs of this land and say that this is a proud moment for Prime Minister Modi, for his government, and for all of us Indians sitting here today. Thank you, Vinny.
General Katoch?
I think, yeah, Vineet, I'll be brief. I think this is an inflection point in our history. You see, it may appear to be a very small thing, that, okay, one chap has come, we've got him after so many years. But it's an inflection point. It has never happened earlier that a country like the United States has actually handed over somebody. And now, as we grow in stature, I think that is the lesson learned. If you want justice in this world, be strong. Justice will not be given to weak countries. So we have to remain politically strong. We have to remain economically and militarily strong. And with that stature, we can ensure justice for ourselves and justice for the world. Vineet.
All right. Gautam?
Well, as far as the Hindu rate of growth goes, it was entirely the rate of growth during the Congress years. That is not at the latter end of the Congress years. After liberalization, growth started and took off and has sustained. Today, India is an important country, going to become more important. This capture and repatriation is an illustration of things to come.
All right. Mr. Bhatt, quickly.
Well, I will just say one thing, there used to be always the headlines, right-wing Hindu fundamentalist party making waves in India. When BJP came to power in 2014, I distinctly remember some of the foreign, publications came up with this, right-wing Hindu. Do they have the gumption of talking it today? Well, they will not be able to do it. And that is the growing might of Bharat.
All right.
And it will keep on growing.
Fair enough.
That's-
Appreciate everybody who joined us. Thank you so much for your valuable input.